14 inches.
Okay. The gear selector switch is up position when the airplane's on the ground, or the landing gear is up and the wing flaps are extended to second or third notch. So anytime you're looking at this in your oral question, don't think, well, I don't know, there's no answer, so I guess I'll never know. You got to go back into the manual that I sent you, and all the systems are under chapter 7. And everything asked in here is in those.
Okay. So chapter 7 is systems?
Yeah, so basically, you knew so much about these systems that when you look at chapter 7, it only gives very basic stuff. That's why Nick said, you did way better than anybody.
Yeah.
Okay, what unit will not allow the gear to be retracted on the ground?
That's the stop pin.
The gear.
Is that the squat switch?
There you go.
Sorry about that. Squat switch.
What is the procedure to extend the gear manually? Emergency gear extension.
What's the procedure?
Mm-hmm.
Pull the freaking knob. No?
Got it first.
Oh, okay. Landing gear needs to be in the up position, or down position, excuse me.
First thing you do.
Reduce your throttle
To what?
to below 140.
It's to 100. Now, then this
Oh,
is
to
pretty.
100.
Yeah, let me show you. I don't know if I have it or you have it, but the checklist.
So you reduce your throttle to 100.
Do you have the checklist?
A picture of it.
I might have it in my bag.
Yeah, I think it is in the bag.
Manual gear extension.
Yep.
Reduce airspeed below 100 knots. Lower landing gear lever. Pull emergency gear extension knob. If electrical system is okay, verify gear lights. Leave emergency gear extension knob out.
Yeah, it needs to be below 100 knots because you don't have any pressure,
Right.
any hydraulic pressure at all. So it's just going to free fall.
So remember that.
Yeah.
Boom. Oh, slow. Gear. Pull.
Slow gear pull. So it needs to be in the down position,
Yeah.
and then you pull for emergency.
Okay. Are the brake and landing gear hydraulic lines interconnected? You.
Brake and gearing and landing gear. I want to say no because you still brake with.
They're two separate systems.
Yeah, they're two separate systems.
What indicates that the gear is in transit and the hydraulic pump is activated?
The gear warning horn
And
the 3 green lights.
well, it's in transit and that pump is activated. What does it look like when the gear is in transit?
The lights
red
don't
light.
all come on at the same time. Right?
That's the gear warning horn.
It says, if you look at it, it says gear transit.
Oh, but that's also the warning horn. It's the same
Well, the
thing.
horn and the light are different.
Oh, so when the light's going off, it's not doing the horn?
I don't think the light is on if the horn is on. If you go below 14 inches, does the light come on? That is a gear transit light.
Oh, so it's not a horn. The horn's something different.
Yeah.
They just happen at the same time.
So it says what indicates the gear is in transit and the hydraulic pump is activated. Let's go, just like I said, I'm going to go back to gear, here, here,
So gear
manual.
transit. I got that wrong last time because I just keep thinking that is the gear warning horn, that light. You know, there's a light and a horn together, but it's not. Okay.
If the gear is neither full up nor full down, a red warning light on the instrument panel indicates. Should the throttle be placed in a low setting, as for landing while gear is retracted, a warning horn sounds to alert the pilot that the gear is retracted. The gear warning horn emits 90 cycles per minute, so they're separate.
Okay.
Gear in transit, horn.
Okay, so the horn's separate from that.
What type of brake? Oh, this is going to be fast questions. What type of braking system is used by the Seminole?
Toe actuated hydraulically. I don't know the other word. Fed. It's not fed. It's ironically actuated. Toe actuated hydraulically activated, or something like that.
Sure. Oh, here it is. 2 single disc double puck brake assemblies, 1 on each main gear, and are actuated by toe brake pedals. And that is it. A brake system hydraulic reservoir independent of the landing gear hydraulic reservoir is located where?
The
hydraulic reservoir.
hydraulic reservoir for the brakes is located in the rear of the nose compartment.
And then how does it work, the braking system?
It's toe actuated. It's a double or single disc puck.
No, single disc double puck brake assemblies.
Single disc double puck.
Remember Puck from Real World Puck?
Yeah.
They kicked him out.
Yeah.
Single disc double puck.
Single disc double puck.
One
It's a
on each
mouthful.
main gear, so they're each
One
single
on-
disc double puck, single disc double puck.
Single
Hydraulic
disc
lines,
double puck.
the reservoirs in the back part of the nose compartment uses hydraulic pressure, depresses the discs, and brakes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Where's the brake fluid serviced?
At the mechanics hangar.
Let him do
I
that.
assume some mechanic is in here somewhere.
It's serviced.
Where's the reservoir?
It's serviced in the nose
The
compartment.
reservoir's in the back of the nose compartment. I'm assuming that's where they service it. All right, here we go with some fire sale question. What type of flaps does the Seminole have?
Manual.
What are the flap settings on the Seminole?
0, 10, 25, 40.
What are the maximum takeoff and landing weights?
Can I refer to my checklist?
If it's in there, I don't think you have, because, yeah,
Oh,
you
it's
didn't.
not drawn in
Oh,
there.
right there,
2,800?
Yep. 3,800.
3,800.
You need to know that cold, man.
Okay, 3,800. Maximum takeoff and landing weights.
All right, what's the maximum baggage capacity?
200 pounds.
All right, can you define single VSSE?
Yes, VSSE is maximum, is simulated single engine out.
And what is it?
What speed is it? And that is 82.
Okay, what are the drag factors on light twins?
Drag factors on light twins. Well, one would be a windmilling, a propeller,
Okay.
windmilling propeller if it was out.
I want to see if you have an acronym.
Landing gear, flaps, induced drag,
Ooh.
parasite drag. What else?
Cow flaps, right? Or,
Could potentially be a
'cause-
drag factor, I think.
yeah.
What happens when you put your props full forward? Are you creating more drag or less drag?
More drag.
Very good.
Yeah.
So that's very good. So let me go to the next question. Who determines VMC for a particular
Do
airplane?
you want this one or you want me to do it?
The FAA, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's a way they do it.
The FAA determines it and the manufacturer has to pretty much make it happen.
Okay, pretty much, that's right. So
And there's a lot of factors that go into that.
can you define VMC?
VMC is minimum controllable airspeed where you can maintain directional control
With?
with the critical engine in on.
Exactly. What are the we did that. Who determined? No, let's go back to. Why is an AFCG used to determine VMC?
Because of rudder deflection, it's going to give you the most unfavorable condition for your rudder.
Okay, what are the factors in determining VMC?
The acronym I use is SMACFUM. That's SMACFUM. I like to write this out. So you're gonna. These are all the factors that determine the VMC, and the first one was going to be sea level on a standard day,
Okay.
and then max thrust into the operating engine,
Okay.
and then most aft CG, which is for your rudder, and critical engine. The C is for critical, if you're keeping up, Alexa, engine.
Yeah.
Windmilling, which means just not feather, just creating tons of drag, right?
Mm-hmm.
The F is for flaps up, gear up, and that one's a tricky one because you would think that that would be be the opposite, but the way it was described with me, the flaps up, gear up, is more unfavorable because as you're adding the drag, it's reducing the amount of drag that's on the windmilling engine. It's kind of evening it out more.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a math equation for it.
There is. So basically, what it does, it's making it more unstable.
it's making it more stable. With
More
your,
unstable.
Well, with your
Yeah.
gear down and your flaps in, it makes it more stable.
Right. So that's
So
why it flaps up gear.
Flaps
makes it
up, gear up, right. Is,
unstable.
that's why it's unfavorable.
Right.
Flaps up, gear up is unfavorable for that reason. And then, the U is for up to 5 degrees of bank into the operating engine, because anything more than that's actually going to make it easier, believe it or not. What's the last one? Oh, most unfavorable weight.
I thought you were farting. I was like, just
So
go
when we
ahead
go
and do
to
that.
When we go to demonstrate this today, the weight's inevitable. I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
Because we're gonna, be in the airplane, so. But that's the way that the FAA, they come up with these standards and the manufacturer pretty much has to abide by them for the VMC. And that's how they come up with what your VMC is. And I think VMC in this airplane is what, 56? 56?
They do the most unfavorable conditions just to get the worst.
Yeah.
Just in
Yeah,
case.
yeah, so that's gonna be worst case scenario, 56, you're gonna lose control, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're just coming at you hard now. I am. Define critical engine and list the factors used to determine it. And there
Critical
is-
engine is in the conventional twin, because we don't have one in the Seminole, is the engine that how can I say this? Has the most adverse effects if it were to be inop
Correct.
on the airplane. Most adverse effects on the airplane if it were to be inop. And then there's factors that go into that, and there's an acronym PAST, P-A-S-T for that. And that's going to be, there's 4 factors, and one of them is P factor, which I'm sure you've heard a lot about.
Page 10. Keep going.
And then you have your accelerated slipstream. And then your spiraling slipstream. And then torque. Which I'm pretty sure I spelled that wrong. But then you can't see it. T-O-R-Q-U-E.
I'm going to speed this up. I would ask you to define each one, P factor, accelerate. But I know you know how to do it,
Mhm.
and we have to pick it up. So, unless the question asks it here. Okay.
2 of those are rolling and 2 of those are yawing.
What causes an aircraft to slide slip with the loss of an engine, and what action is required to correct for this?
Okay, side slip with the loss of an engine would be that you're going to go bank into the operating engine and apply, or actually before you bank, excuse me. When you apply rudder or the loss of an engine, the airplane goes into a slide slip condition,
Okay.
so you can maintain your direction. And so you're basically flying through there like this, but when you apply rudder and bank into the operating engine, it corrects that side slip.
And how much are you going to bank into the operating engine?
5 to 10 degrees
Okay.
into
Remember
the
that.
operating engine. So the bank is what helps correct that side slip motion.
So a lot of people think that when you lose an engine, you lose 50% of your power, right?
You actually lose 80%.
All right. What aircraft equipment?
It's a drag.
What aircraft equipment checks are required under Part 91, which we have already gone through?
What aircraft?
Equipment and checks. We already just started out with the maintenance logbooks and everything.
Right.
Aviate.
We've got the AV8s, we've
Okay.
got the tomato flames.
That's
equipment.
just your list that you can go without. This just says what equipment checks are required. Annual, transponder,
Okay.
blah, 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 blah.
Okay, we went through all
We
that,
started that.
AV8s, yeah.
Okay, define absolute and single engine service ceiling.
Absolute and single engine
Now remember,
service.
absolute, I didn't
Yeah,
say single.
absolute is gonna be, absolute service ceiling is where you could be, the airplane can climb at 100 foot per minute, can still maintain 100 foot per minute without
This is what I'm gonna
without
check.
drift down. And then the single engine is gonna be 50 foot per minute, so you're only gonna have one engine, critical engine in op, 50 foot per minute climb.
Hang on.
And the absolute is when you can't climb no more.
And then that's the, I'm sorry, that's the single engine.
That's what I was trying to-
The absolute service ceiling is where, that's the highest you can get without drift down.
Yeah.
2 engines.
Right. So the single engine service ceiling is 50 foot per minute climb with the critical engine in op. or just a regular service ceiling is gonna be 100 foot per minute climb, still maintain 100 foot per minute climb. And then the absolute ceiling is the one where that's the highest you can be without drift down.
Okay,
Either
so
single or 2 engines.
Yeah.
single engine service ceiling. Tell me the number again.
Single engine service ceiling is 50 foot
Okay.
per minute. And then
Single
100
engine absolute is what?
single and absolute service ceiling is
0.
0. It's whatever you can maintain without drift down.
Okay, good. And I just want to make sure you don't get it up. There's also just absolute and service ceiling.
That's same thing as
Okay.
single engine absolute ceiling.
Okay. Will the propeller feather below 950?
No.
The propeller will not feather below 950
Why?
on because there's stop pins that
Okay.
prevent it from happening.
Explain the Pitot-static system.
Pitot-static system uses ram air for your airspeed indicator and static air for the
VSI.
Thank you, the VSI. I know all these instruments. I'm burnt out
I know.
all day. VSI and the altimeter.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
So,
My battery's about done.
oh, does the Seminole have an alternate static system?
The Seminole does have an alternate static system. Yeah.
How does that work?
You just have to pull it.
Or what? We're going to look more into that.
But I think that if you use the alternate static system, it's going to show a higher than normal airspeed, a higher than normal altimeter setting.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
How do you prevent a heater overheat?
heater overheat.
We don't have one.
We don't have one. Yeah,
Let's just wait.
yeah. And turn on the cabin air. I don't know.
I'm going to read this. It's in the manual. This is actually section 7. Once again, heater operation. Towards the end, right above cabin feature 7.26. An overheat switch located in the heater unit acts as a safety device to render the heater inoperative if a malfunction should occur. So you guys need to read this. Should the switch deactivate the heater, the overheat light on the instrument panel will illuminate. So once again, there's an overheat switch. It senses it, an overheat in the heater, and then it'll deactivate the heater and a red light pops on. And there it says our heater's in op, there's a hole for the red light, it's taken out. The overheat switch is located on the aft, blah, blah, blah. To prevent activation of the overheat switch upon normal heater shutdown during ground operations, turn the 3-position switch to fan for 2 minutes with the air intake lever in the open position before turning off. What we'll do is we're going to go through this in the airplane, just so you have, to prevent activation of the overheat switch upon normal heater shutdown. When we're landing, because it's a big gas tank. That's why they take them out. It's a janitorial heater. Who wants a bunch of gas floating around on the freaking heater in the airplane? It's a heater and gas. That sounds safe.
Yeah.
That's why everybody takes them out.
Yeah. So we don't even have the janitorial heater in our airplane at all.
No. But if we did.
What if we did? We'd take it out.
There's a switch that'll detect. Turn this into your own words. There's a switch that'll determine the overheat. It'll disconnect the heater and turn a red light on. Okay, so when you're done using it, just so you don't get that overheat scenario, it's got this action. During ground operation, turn the 3-position switch, there's 3 of those things, to fan for 2 minutes, boom, hack your clock. With the intake lever in the open position, which here it'll be open, so it'll be like, before turning the switch off. So 2 minutes, open, turn the heater off, but we don't have one, so. What is the fuel capacity? And how many gallons are unusable?
Oh, usable fuel, 108 gallons.
2 55-gallon bladder tanks, 1 gallon unusable per tank.
Okay, there you
So
go.
it's one. I didn't
You
think
said
it was
58.
4. Yeah.
All I knew was 108. I was like, I didn't know we usually had 4
So
gallons.
58 is right.
No, 55. 55.
Okay.
Each has 1 gallon unusable. So
Okay,
it's
50.
total of 108 usable, but 110.
Okay.
Okay.
I just forgot.
And these are fast questions. What grade fuel is to be used in the Piper?
100 low lead. You can also use 100, but
Okay.
nobody carries that.
Right, what color is each?
The green is for the 100, the
Okay.
blue is for the low lead.
How many fuel pumps are on the aircraft?
There's 2 fuel pumps,
2 electric.
2 electric fuel pumps, yeah.
Okay. If he goes deeper, you can say, well, there's actually 2 engine-driven fuel pumps too. So
Yeah,
there's 4.
4.
What are the various positions of the fuel selector? I'm going to move, you know that. Explain the procedure for cross-feeding, we've already done. If an engine failure occurred at 5,000 feet or a higher density altitude, what would you do to get max performance from the operating engine after performing the in-flight engine checklist?
Give full throttle
Right.
and feather the other engine.
Right. Now you're on one engine and it's a high density altitude. Then he wants, how can you get them?
You have to lean it back.
Hey, lean it
Yeah.
back. If the cylinder head temp and oil temp approach the caution range, what can be done to assist in cooling?
I would enrich in the mixture.
And
Pull the throttle back.
what else can you do?
Descend.
Yes. Why does the manifold pressure decrease approximately 1 inch per 1,000 feet during climb?
Because the air is less dense.
Very good.
So you have to add more power.
Okay, good. When an engine's inoperative, you got 2 questions left. We're done. When an engine is inoperative or
I can do
feathered,
Q&A, but when you start putting it into scenarios, I'm like, wow.
when an engine is, this is a good one. When an engine is inoperative or feathered, what indication will be observed on the manifold pressure?
You're gonna have ambient, or not ambient, barometric pressure.
It's
on
going to
the
be measured.
manifold. Yeah.
Remember, I tell them it's got a job to do, so it doesn't have the job of measuring
Yeah.
pressure from the engine.
That actually makes sense to me now after that.
So now I was like, well, I guess I got to measure some. I'm going to measure ambient pressure or
Yeah.
barometric pressure. Why is the manifold pressure not necessarily a good indicator in determining inoperative engine? Same exact reason.
Because it could give a false reading.
They might be exactly the same.
Yeah, it might not
you
be
don't know which
much
one
off.
it is.
Yeah.
You're done. Passed.
And that's a wrap.